Music video director Flo Fortune makes a compelling feature debut about a near future where a couple's bid for adoption stirs emotions as old as time. Aryan Himesh Patel spends much of the assessment fiddling with skin, having developed a tactile virtual simulation of an animal to replace the creatures that were sacrificed in a near extinction level event sometime prior. The flesh is too tough, sometimes too synthetic at others, but he's certainly onto something, and it's hard not to feel the same way about the sci fi candy coating on Flow Fortune's strong, darkly amusing feature is. In fact, the debut, which launched with the world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, is so idiosyncratic that it might have been better if it had dropped its genre trappings entirely. But removing that dystopian future could deprive Fortune of such a convincing showcase for her as a clearly gifted visual stylist, and the license for some knockout production design from Jen and a bold score from Emily, both of which originally suggest how a world increasingly devoid of humanity has made it all the more important for those alive to leave an impression with handmade touches throughout. However, the ingenious premise of the script penned by Mrs. and Mr. Thomas Acanel, Gaffat Cox, and Dave Thomas, and John Donnelly renders the extra coat of paint a bit unnecessary when allegory is not needed to relate to Aryan and his partner Mia, Elizabeth Olsen, as they subject themselves to an interview conducted by a representative from the state to determine their suitability for parenthood. When Virginia shows up at the door of their seaside abode, Mia feels obligated to ask what she's looking for in an adoption applicant. That answer is shrouded in a bit more mystery than you'd expect, even from a tight lipped professional. There are vague references to what's happening outside of Aryan and Mia's remote corner of Earth, a planet divided up between what's called the Old World and the better place that the couple inhabits, where strict population control has made an inhospitable climate bearable again. But the assessment is wise to largely set and bluntly expository world built to the side when the excruciating process Mia and Aryan undergo to prove themselves to a stranger is engaging enough. Save for Aryan's pitch black back room, where the works of his visual pets, the most peculiar story element in the film has nothing to do with sci fi, but the fact that Virginia is obligated to stay for a total of 7 days in their home to get a proper read on them. What's more, she starts to behave like the baby they would ultimately care for to gauge their reaction. Vikander has a ball as the troublemaking Virginia, dipping into a well of eccentricities she hasn't often gotten to show outside of her collaborations with fellow sweet Lisa Lesgen in Hotel and the 2017 film Euphoria. Patel and Olsen are equally good as the unnerved pair of scientists who could obviously handle the responsibilities to taking care of a child but not survive with week-long experiment. The assessment is smartly structured, with each day bringing a new challenge that makes Mia and Aryan question themselves, including Virginia's childish temper tantrums, assembling a buckyball like playhouse akin to many IKEA nightmares, and a surprise dinner party they have to throw for assorted guests from the lives that they wouldn't likely have invited themselves. The only issue arrives when the assessment is compelled to circle back to its broader context after the process itself is over. Hope you like this review of The Assessment, where Alicia Vikander and Elizabeth Olsen test each other in a smart, stripped down sci fi parable about parenting.